That's exactly what I'm saying, because
Go
I
ahead.
think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, okay, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented, we're not putting the best team out.
How these WNBA experts think is beyond me. What does their brain actually process? How is it possible for ESPN to hire these individuals to discuss WNBA and present such viewpoints? They are not as talented, but we still need people for marketing and attention. Famous ESPN commentator Molly Karam's comments about Caitlin Clark, one of the WNBA's emerging stars, sparked a major uproar in the sports world. Her remarks on live television not only caused indignation but also ignited a broad discussion about how the media views and evaluates female athletes, especially those in the WNBA. Cum recommended that gamers like Caitlin Clark, despite drawing massive attention and viewership, were ultimately a mockery of women's basketball. According to Cum, Clark's presence in the sport was more of a marketing gimmick rather than a reflection of her actual talent. This bold claim quickly stirred emotions among fans, analysts, and players, many of whom took issue with Cum's assessment. In a league where players constantly have to prove their worth and battle for recognition, downplaying the achievements of someone like Caitlin Clark felt incredibly uninformed as well as unfair. Significant concerns regarding the biases in sports commentary, especially in the coverage of women's sports, were highlighted by the ensuing controversy.
All I gotta say is she's lucky this UConn team isn't healthy. And that's a true statement.
That's wrong, Molly.
Monica,
That's wrong, Molly. Molly,
like
it's
five
excuses.
top players,
It's excuses,
am I right?
Molly. It's excuses.
Major injuries.
You would not be saying that if it wasn't UConn.
Major stars not playing.
Listen,
Excuse me. Go.
It's her against Caitlin Clark.
Stephen A.
Ain't no excuses.
Stephen
You
A.
got there.
Wait a minute.
No, want to hear that now.
Stephen A.
Let me tell you, if
Paige
Georgetown
Becker-
get back in the mix, I'm going to be insufferable. I'm just telling you that now.
What?
If Paige Beckerson basically missed 2 seasons, I don't know if we'd be talking about Caitlin Clark the way we are now.
During her time as a college basketball player, Caitlin Clark gained notoriety due to her incredible on-court performance. Her remarkable basketball IQ, playmaking abilities, and leadership on the court immediately made her a household name in addition to her scoring prowess. At the University of Iowa, Clark was a standout player who routinely led her team to wins and broke multiple records. She was one of the most thrilling players to watch because of her ability to make deep three-pointers, set up scoring opportunities for her teammates, and perform well under duress. Many observers and admirers started drawing comparisons between her and some of the greatest women's basketball players of all time, and it was obvious that she would have an immediate influence in the WNBA. However, Caitlin Clark had a difficult time winning the respect of many sports media outlets despite her outstanding college record. This takes us to Molly Karam's contentious comments, which not only minimized Clark's skills, but also brought attention to a more significant problem with how major media sources cover women's sports. Molly Karam didn't hold back when she used the radio to express her thoughts about Caitlin Clark. Cum asserted that rather than genuinely contributing to the WNBA, athletes like Clark were instead drawing the wrong kind of attention to the sport. Karam claims that Caitlin Clark's enormous fanbase and media attention had less to do with her basketball skills and more to do with her marketability. She even implied that Clark wasn't gifted enough to be regarded as one of the top players in the WNBA, saying that her existence in the league was a mockery of the women's game. Despite the controversy surrounding her name, Caitlin has kept up her good work on the field, setting records and exuding a certain aura. She refuses to listen to analysts and instead is so elegant in everything she does. Caitlin declines to listen to what others have to say about rather. She lets her conversation unfold with the ball. In addition to being hurtful, these remarks seem to minimize the effort and commitment Caitlin Clark had made to become into the player she is today. Hearing such public criticism from a well-known character in sports media must have been depressing for a young athlete like Clark, who had repeatedly shown herself. However, Cum's remarks were more than just a personal jab. They revealed a more serious problem. The propensity of some media figures to minimize the accomplishments of female athletes, especially when those women are shattering records and establishing new benchmarks for excellence in their particular sports. The notion that Caitlin Clark was only bringing attention to the WNBA without genuinely improving the standard of play was one of the things Molly Karam emphasized. In addition to being false, this claim ignores the contribution that players like Clark make to the league's expansion. For a long time, The WNBA has been unable to get the same level of interest as the NBA, its male equivalent. This is a result of both societal prejudices and inadequate media coverage, not a lack of talent or skill among the players. When a player like Caitlin Clark joins the league and starts attracting new supporters, it should be viewed as an improvement for women's basketball. For the league to continue expanding and garnering respect on a broader scale, Clark's capacity to draw greater attention to the game through both her on-court play and her off-court appeal is exactly what it needs. However, Combs' remarks seem to paint this increased attention in a negative light, as if the addition of a star who could draw in more viewers somehow devalued the WNBA. This viewpoint ignores the fact that viewership and marketability are critical to a league's success and long-term viability in professional sports. If Caitlin Clark is performing at a high level and contributing to the WNBA's fan base growth level, she is fulfilling every requirement for the league's success. Molly Qerim's criticism of Caitlin Clark's removal from Team USA was another element that caused indignation. Caitlin Clark was not chosen to compete internationally for the United States despite her stellar collegiate experience and obvious skill. Although many supporters expressed disapproval of this choice, Qerim publicly endorsed it and expressed happiness that Clark had been left off the roster. Despite being ruled out, Clark maintained her humility, acknowledged how difficult it is to compete in the Olympics with the United States, and stated that she will keep getting better in the hopes of being chosen for 2028. She exudes aura.
I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics. So, it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. I think it just gives you something to work for. It's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Given Clark's outstanding results in the NCAA, many found Combs' argument that Clark just wasn't skilled enough to compete at the world level to be puzzling. In addition to being incorrect, the idea that a player of Clark's skill shouldn't be on the USA team seemed to reveal a deeper prejudice against her. As is frequently the case in sports, the greatest way to silence critics is via performance. Thus, Qerim's public celebration of Clark's exclusion seemed like an unjustified attack on a young player who is already fighting for recognition in the professional ranks. That's exactly what Caitlin Clark has done. Following Qerim's critical remarks and despite being left off of Team USA, Clark has persisted in letting her skills speak for itself. Her WNBA performances have been nothing short of outstanding, especially when she has faced elite teams like the Los Angeles Sparks and the Chicago Sky. Clark demonstrated all of her capabilities in these games, including her ability to score goals, create plays, and improve her teammates' performances. In addition to leading her team to success, she did so in a way that demonstrated her skill. Clark has developed a habit of making game-winning shots and clutch plays with triple-doubles, and her stats speak for themselves. Molly Qerim quickly started to transform her tune. Qerim publicly retracted some of her earlier remarks after seeing Clark's amazing performances, saying that she had never really questioned Clark's abilities. In sharp contrast to her prior remarks, she continued by praising Clark as one of the league's top players. Although it's admirable that Qerim later saw Clark's potential, the abrupt change in perspective called into question the validity of her earlier criticism. The flip-flop Molly Qerim made about Caitlin Clark is not unique. IT is a component of a broader problem in the media, especially with regard to coverage of women's sports. All too frequently, pundits and analysts are ready to draw sweeping conclusions about players without completely comprehending their skills or the subtleties of the game. In Clark's case, the initial rejection of her potential was not only unjust, but also a sign of a larger issue with the coverage of female sports.
Honest with ourselves. If you want to vote for Angel Reese, just be honest for the reason why you're voting for her. Caitlin Clark leads all rookies in pretty much every statistic except rebounding. And Angel Reese is a big, and she should be beating most people in rebounds, but you escape the fact that she's collecting 2 or 3 of her own missed layups and hoarding those rebounds. Caitlin Clark has turnovers because her teammates are fumbling the ball. And yes, she does mismanage the ball at times, but people act like she's just giving the ball up every possession. Caitlin Clark affects the entire game. So if you're making a basketball decision, then Caitlin Clark is easily the Rookie of the Year. And if you want to vote for Angel Reese or you say Angel Reese is Rookie of the Year, that's cool too. Just be honest about the reason why you think.
The league's reputation as a whole suffers from inconsistent analysis, in addition to the players. The validity of the sport is undermined, and a sense of instability is created when media figures constantly alter their perspectives. Fans are left wondering if these analysts actually understand what they're talking about, or if they're just stating whatever would fit the current storyline or create the most attention. In a league like the WNBA, which is still battling for the respect it merits, this is especially detrimental. Analysts' prejudiced or ignorant remarks might undermine the league's attempts to be regarded as a major professional sports association. Such contradictory analysis is not only annoying for players like Caitlin Clark, who are working nonstop to increase the level of competition and attract more spectators to the game, but it is also harmful to the development of the sport. The public's opinion of athletes in sports leagues is greatly influenced by analysts and commentators, which is one of the reasons Molly Combs' remarks were so harmful. The way players are depicted in the media can have a significant influence on how the general public views them in the WNBA, a league that is still vying for widespread recognition. When a well-known person like Combs takes risks, unfounded allegations against a player, such as Caitlin Clark, affect how casual fans perceive that player. Fans may be less likely to watch Clark play or support the league if they learn that she is just a marketing gimmick and not a real talent. Because every fan matters in a league like the WNBA, it is crucial for analysts to be impartial and precise in their evaluations. Furthermore, fans may become confused when pundits like Karam abruptly change their minds. It's difficult for fans to know what to trust when Caitlin Clark is praised as one of the league's greatest players one day and written off as a parody of the game the next. Fans may find it challenging to completely interact with the league as a result of this inconsistency, which may further damage public confidence in the media.
If Rookie of the Year was picked today, I give it to Angel. There's still stuff about her game that I'm like, I wish she would have stayed another year. And that is just from an offensive standpoint of working on her post game, working on her post moves. I do think that'll come with time. To me, the stuff that Angel brings is, one, she gonna play hard, period. No matter who they're playing. And Kenyon, you can speak to this. Rebounding is about effort, and I want it more than you, and I'm just gonna go get it. That is the best part of Angel's game right now. I think she's averaging a double-double.
12
that's
and 10.
impressive. That's impressive for anybody, let alone a rookie, to come in and do that.
Former WNBA player Cheryl Swoops is another well-known person who has come under fire for how she handled the Caitlin Clark case. Some have speculated that there might be jealousy involved because Swoops, a legend in her own right, has frequently avoided talking about Clark's achievements. Although it's tough to pinpoint the exact reason for Swoops' unwillingness to recognize Clark's accomplishments, it's certain that some former players and analysts feel uneasy about giving Clark the credit she merits. This could be partly because Clark accomplished things in her debut season that very few players in WNBA history have managed to accomplish. Cheryl is still rooting for Angel Reese to win Rookie of the Year. Although supporters think there should only be one winner, CC, Clark has distinguished herself from many of her competitors with her consistent triple-doubles and game-changing exploits. She has accomplished milestones and broken numerous records in her debut season alone, surpassing even some of the best players in the league's history. This degree of achievement, particularly at such a young age, can occasionally cause conflict for individuals who believe their own legacies are being eclipsed. In spite of the skepticism and objections, one of the most outstanding rookie seasons in WNBA history has been experienced by Caitlin Clark. From the minute she took the court, she was able to perform at an exceptional level. With numerous triple-doubles and game-winning performances, Clark has continuously produced figures that no other rookie has been able to match. The fact that Clark is accomplishing all of this while leading the Indiana Fever, a team that has had difficulties recently, makes her accomplishments even more impressive. Clark is one of the league's most thrilling players to watch because of her ability to guide her team and perform in crucial situations. She has rapidly established herself as one of the top players in the WNBA due to her unquestionable talent. Clark's ability to silence her detractors with her play has been one of the most important features of her debut season. Her magnificence has forced analysts who previously questioned her ability or wrote her off as a marketing gimmick to admit it. Her accomplishments and the records she has broken speak for themselves. Furthermore, it's evident that Caitlin Clark is more than just a well-known figure in women's basketball. She truly is a superstar. The gap between what pundits are saying and what is truly happening on the court is one of the most annoying aspects of the Caitlin Clark debate. All too frequently, WNBA commentators appear disconnected from the realities of the game, making judgments based more on their own prejudices or preconceptions than on performance or facts.
Slow down Caitlin Clark. I don't necessarily think you can slow her down. She's bound to get at least 20 every single game. You have to make her choose one. Like, either she's going to be scoring that night, or you're going to try to keep her scoring down and have her pass to her teammates more.
I agree with that mindset. When you're guarding someone like Caitlin Clark, you can't necessarily stop her, shut her down or anything, so you gotta pick your battles with her. Like, she's so good, she's going to have however many points regardless of how you decide to guard her.
The Paige and AZ show is presented by Buick, a proud partner of the NCAA.
In Clark's case, the original assessment of her skill was not only erroneous, but also wholly out of step with her on-court accomplishments. Despite Clark's record-breaking performances, analysts like Molly Karam's suggestion that she was a mockery of the game highlights a bigger problem with how women's basketball is covered in the media. There appears to be a lack of respect for the athletes and a propensity to minimize their accomplishments, even when those accomplishments are historic. The WNBA's inability to receive the credit it merits is partly due to this gap between experts and the reality of the game. When people who are meant to be experts in the sport provide inconsistent or ignorant analysis, it damages the league's reputation and makes it more difficult for fans to interact with the game. This kind of analysis is not only annoying for players like Caitlin Clark, who are working nonstop to increase the quality of competition and attract more spectators to the sport, but it is also detrimental to the league's expansion. Please subscribe and leave a like if you like this video. More content from our channel will now appear on the screen. I appreciate you watching.